The design process isn't a fixed thing, and it's definitely not just a classic double diamond anymore. It's changing. In this new world, the best thing you can do is to convert all of your discovery work into a really strong brief before you touch any code or write any prompts. That means gather all of your artifacts and turn them into documentation that will help AI assist you in actually building the product. Discovery work is still relevant. You still do user interviews and collect all the outputs. You still define your design patterns based on the design system requirements. You still capture pain points, product requirements, workflows, and business goals. But now all of that lives in a structured brief. The biggest shift from the old model is this. Instead of developing wireframes and mockups, we will increasingly be delivering coded prototypes. So, what could that workflow look like? Let's divide that into 6 steps. First, you create a set of markdown files that help you gather and organize all of your knowledge. The goal is clearly to understand what you are building. What is the product? Who is it for? What problems does it solve? And how does it fit into the existing system or design language? Next is the planning stage. Here, you use AI prompting to organize everything you've collected. You ask AI to help you summarize the product, include details like your design system requirements, structure the information so both you and the AI have a clear, shared understanding. Then comes generation. This is where you start prototyping. You build in small iterations and you gradually evolve the prototype instead of doing it all in one big shot. Think of each step like a small Jira story. You're layering functionality and refinement over time. After that, there's a refinement phase. Similar to the refine stage of the double diamond, you tighten the logic, you improve the flows, and you adjust the UI and the UX to better match your goals and constraints. Then you move into review and testing. You test with stakeholders, you test with internal users, you check if what you build actually works for the real needs and use cases. Validate what the prototype if the prototype is plausible, usable tool, and it's not just a pretty interface. Lastly, you document and learn. Capture what you worked on, capture what didn't work, update your files so they reflect the current reality of the product. Log all of your decisions and outcomes so future work becomes from what you've learned. Now, let's talk about one of the most important artifacts in this process, the product intent file. Think of the product intent file as a highly detailed brief that tells AI exactly what you are building and how it should be behaved. What goes into it? A clear problem statement, definitions of your users and personas, user segments and their jobs to be done, success metrics, how will you know that it's working, constraints like technical, business, legal constraints, or otherwise. You can include scope for the MVP, for V1 and V2, and even explicit non-goals, what you won't build. And in the end, you can even add questions that still need validation. This file becomes your single source of truth. Instead of immediately jumping into code or designing a dashboard, you invest in writing this product intent file. That's where you get the biggest return on effort because it gives AI a clear, structured understanding of the product. You can even ask a tool like ChatGPT to help you structure a product intent file. Once you have your discovery artifacts, you can say, create a product intent file for this product and use that as a starting point. Another key piece before you start any code is the prototype plan. And before you start the prototype plan, I want to show you an example of a product intent file. Here it is in a markdown format where I just asked ChatGPT to generate a sample, and you can see how clear and defined it has everything from goals to core user needs and key workflows. When it comes to prototype plan. Instead of jumping in and saying, build me a dashboard, you ask AI, based on these files and this product intent, create a prototype plan. So this plan breaks the work into steps, defines architecture and components, keeps the project focused on being a coherent system and not just a collection of disconnected screens. Only then you do move into actually building the prototype. Again, you work in layers, not in one giant request. You ask AI to build one small part, review it, refine it, move on to the next part. A useful way to think of this process, this AI process, is think of AI as a junior product engineer. AI is fast at generating structure, writing boilerplates, creating variants, and some other things, but it's not that great at prioritization, understanding nuanced business context, and deep domain-specific logic. That's your job. You're responsible for supplying priorities, supplying definitions, defining constraints, and providing product taste and quality standards. You manage the AI, not the other way around. So how do you know if you've built the right thing? You can evaluate the prototype through 5 lenses. Clarity. Does the product behave logically? Does the flow make sense? Can someone understand what's happening and why? Interaction logic. Does it behave as expected? Information hierarchy. Is the information organized so people can quickly scan and find what matters most? Product realism. Does it feel like a real, credible tool that someone would actually use in their work? And finally, learnings. What did you learn that the code can do that Figma couldn't? So if you zoom out, the new workflow still looks familiar. You still gather research and requirements. You still understand users, problems, and constraints. But then you write a strong product intent file. You define UI rules and a few key scenarios. You ask AI to propose the prototype architecture and plan. You build the prototype in small steps, iterating and refining, and you test it with real people. And finally, you log your decisions and what you've learned. That's the AI-enabled design and prototyping process I'm proposing as a new way of working.